And welcome back to the set of the Florida Aviation Network. I'm Ben Coleman, one of your hosts here on the 42nd Sun and Fun International Convention and Fly-In. And we come here every year to bring to you the compelling information that lets us know what's going on in aviation. And with that, one of the largest counties in the state of Florida is Polk County. And they are one of the most visible and prolific counties in promotion of aviation education. We're very, very fortunate to have Mr. Eric Crump here with us today. Eric?
Hey Ben, always good to be here.
It's always good to see you. And Eric is actually, I guess your official title is Director.
Aerospace Program Director. That's what they tell me I am.
Aerospace.
Yeah, that's what I go with.
And but you do it, you wear it well all day,
I enjoy
many
it.
days.
It's a fun job.
It is.
It's a really fun job.
And you've been doing this now for how long, Eric?
Going on 4 years. Program started January of 2013. I got here at the end of 2012. And to be honest with you, when the program started, we didn't really know. We had this assumption that people were going to show up because there was huge interest. And then when we actually got to it, that first semester, I think we had 25 total enrolled students. 9 people were taking our core classes, and this last semester we were over 147. So it's grown really quickly in a very short period of time.
Well, that growth is a testament to what you guys have put out as far as the feeding and the seeding of the growth. And,
it starts really early. It starts early. If you wait until a student is kind of getting ready to go to college, there's a great potential they probably already made up their mind about what it is they want to do. So working with Sun and Fun, working with the Polk County School Board, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, we've got students here at 7 and 8 years old in aerospace summer camps, and then we just watch that progression and mentor that progression all the way through middle school, high school, and then into college with a bachelor's degree. So it's actually really funny because we're starting to see students now who have gone through the entire educational pipeline, people who are in my program who remember going to summer camp at Sun and Fun and are actually part of that pipeline of aviation education. It's really interesting to see that pay off.
Well, Eric, I know that you know that I'm heavy into maintenance. I'm a mechanic guy, and maintenance is very, very important to all of us.
Can't fly it if it's not maintained.
If it's not working right, it's not going to fly right. And we also want to develop mechanics with that skill set and that mindset of doing it professionally, doing it right all the time, not just on occasion. And one way to do that through the educational process is to learn about the certification aspects and just drill it into them day in and day out. Degree programs. I know Embry-Riddle offers a aircraft aviation maintenance management degree. What does Polk County offer?
Well, so as of August of this year, 2016, we'll start our new Aviation Maintenance Administration degree. It's an AS degree. The interesting thing about that degree is, though, that if you are currently in a Part 147 training program, we're going to bring in 30 college credits just for obtaining your A&P. So half of that 60 credit degree is done just because you got your A&P. And so rather than saying, you must come here and do this, what we said was, listen, a 147 program is approved by the FAA. It's heavily overseen by the FAA. So let's partner with schools who are doing this and doing it right. Let's work with them and create a pipeline so that, because if you say everybody has to come to me to do their technical training, well, that's a bandwidth issue. Now I limited the number of people who can get that degree. By partnering with these schools who have been doing this for 20, 30 years, who have the experience of doing the technical part of the training, we're getting the best technical training we can possibly get while also providing a degree option for more students. So the key of it is it's 18 credits of general education like you take in any college degree, and then 4 specific aerospace courses. But the really cool thing about it is you can take all 4 of those aerospace courses and your general education for that matter, online or face-to-face. So if you're in South Florida and you don't want to come to Lakeland to go to a face-to-face class, that's fine. We can deal with that. We can take you online. So we have the option, the flexibility to be able to bring in more people who want that degree, because as you know, the difference between the degree or just the technical certificates, the job is there. People are getting hired on not just at the airlines, but in all sorts of different fields before they even finish their certification. But it's that first year pay and then the advancement possibilities, that degree starts to look really good and become really useful.
Well, we just mentioned with the previous guest, it's going to take about 500 and some thousand, over 500,000 mechanics and pilots to keep our air transportation system thriving. And I would like to see the time of day that there's going to be a lotto for jobs. I mean, there's going to be so many jobs that, you know, how do you get one of these jobs?
Well, you can see in the news, if you watch the news, read the news, whatever, everybody's talking about a pilot shortage, which is absolutely observable. The regional airlines are feeling it the worst right now, but it won't be long before you start seeing majors. You'll see the minimum time to hire is going to start coming down and all, and so that will feel out over the next few years. What surprises me is how many people are not talking about the maintenance shortage that we have, because the need in aircraft maintenance is even higher than it is in pilots right now.
It is.
And it's one of those things that's kind of not talked about all that much. And the jobs are not just with the major airlines anymore. The power companies, it's actually funny, an interesting fact, but Disney World hires more A&P mechanics than anybody else in the country. They are the biggest hirer of A&P mechanics. It's like, well, not for their fleet of airplanes, but for their rides. Because you can't do any other training on heavy pneumatics and heavy hydraulic systems other that is the certification. It's the only one that exists.
I mean, and people don't stop and think usually if they don't know about the maintenance, but there's safety techniques, plumbing, all the hydraulics. I mean, it's NASCAR picked up a lot from aviation.
NASCAR picks up a lot of A&P mechanics.
So, I mean, there's so much that's involved with aviation maintenance that people don't really stop and think about how much of their daily life is affected by it. And the discipline, and that's what we were talking about again. And I would like to think that Polk County, I haven't been to any of your courses. I'm ashamed to say that I haven't stuck my head in the door.
You are welcome anytime.
I would love to stick
Campus
my head
is
in
like
the door.
A couple hundred yards that way.
Well, that might be too far for me, but I can make it happen. But I want to see the attention span, the discipline that your instructors put out to the students, and just how well we can propel these folks into the industry. And it is a lot of fun. And I mentioned this earlier. It's the first career that my job. I've never really worked a day in my life, and I've been in aviation since I was 16.
It's funny, I told somebody the other day, I don't remember the last time I went to work.
No.
You know, it's funny, I love what I do. The fact that I get paid at the end of every month to do it is pretty cool too. I mean, that's awesome. It keeps the lights on. I don't want anybody to find out that I would do it for free, but I would probably do it for free if I could figure a way to feed my kids, because I just legitimately love what I do. In some ways, I can sort of live vicariously through my students and the great successes they have. And every time we see a kid solo, I still remember being 16 years old on my 16th birthday, getting out of that airplane, having that accomplishment, and I get to relive it on a regular basis every semester. Got more people soloing, and that part of it is really exciting to me. I love watching these students' success, but I love our team. I love our diverse team that comes from all sorts of backgrounds. We've got aviation maintenance, but not just maintenance. We've got airline, we've got GA, we've got military, and then when you get into the flight side, we've got airline, we've got corporate. I'm a corporate guy. I got the airline guy. We've got the Air Force guy. And so from a faculty perspective, it's not just a one-sided group. I mean, so when our students are looking for career coaching or mentoring or something, they can get advice from people who are not only who used to do this a long time ago, but many of us are still doing it in the field right now. So it's very relevant instruction. And as you know, in this business, I mean, so much of what we do is who you know, and being in the right place at the right time, and having connections who are, nothing wrong with, I'm a career professor, I retired from a job, whatever, that's fine, that's very legitimate. But when you can talk to your professor who works at wherever they work during the day doing this professionally, and they come in and they teach you, or they're teaching you online, or whatever the case may be, you say, hey, can we work out a thing where maybe I could come in and job shadow you one day? And you get to go in and actually see that environment in real life. Textbooks are fine and all, but that's a foundation. I don't want to see somebody come out of college and their entire experience has been what they learned out of a textbook, because textbooks were always meant to just be a foundation, not the whole end course. So I want those experts in the classroom, and I want our classrooms out in the field actually observing and being a part of aviation maintenance, piloting, administration, all of it.
Well, it's important that I've learned. I didn't realize that your courses were offered online, but the flexibility, it allows the individual that if they're really serious about attaining a certain achievement, or they set it as a goal, and it's a challenge, and I've challenged the viewers. It's a goal. It's an achievement that you want to come back on and succeed at. There's people out there like Eric and his foundations and his organization that they will help you. They're there to help you. They're there to support you. And when you have a question, everybody has a question.
We all went through this too.
Sure
I think
did.
I remind the students of this all the time. They come to me with some alien question. They're like, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I've got this. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's what I'm here for. But I would much rather you come ask me career advice than me have to stand in the classroom and lecture you stuff. Contrary to popular belief, professors don't like lecturing any more than students like being lectured to. I would much rather have a discussion with you and make it interactive. But first of all, that's what I'm here for. And second of all, I had to do this too. And before I realized that you could go up to people and ask questions, I did a lot of this on my own, just making it up as I went along, And then I realized, hey, there are people in this business who legitimately want to help you, who want to answer your questions and point you in the right direction. And so from day one with our students, it's like find 2 or 3 people that you identify with, even if their particular slant of the aviation industry isn't what you necessarily want to do, their perspective is going to be invaluable to you. Because just like with pilots, low time doesn't necessarily mean low experience if you've really committed yourself to training. And I think the same thing is true with the career progression. Just because you're young or you haven't had a lot of jobs doesn't mean you're unskilled. You just need the mentors. You need their experience to help offset what you don't have yet. And I think that's the key. It's finding those people that you can go to. And I know you've done this for tons of people too. But it's really, really important that we have those people in aviation where you can call and say, hey, can you do a sanity check for me for a second? This thing came up and I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing or not. It's really important.
Not only, Eric, the educational aspect, but the timing. You mentioned timing, and you've got to surround yourself. And this, from a management perspective, what I've learned through my management career is you really want to be a successful leader and a manager, surround yourself with good people. Pick a good staff, a staff that knows what they're doing. If you're going to be a student and you want to learn a subject, put those that can help you around you. Gravitate to either a mentor or at Lockheed Aircraft, we had factory directory level folks that were our sponsors. They were our guys. We were assigned to them. When we didn't have anything else to do, we had to go sit in their office. And folks said, well, that sounds boring. I said, oh, no. You'd never imagine what kind of conversations you pick up on. And the conversation you pick up on, you learn the techniques, the habits.
But you get to meet all the people that they work with every day. Those are connections you're going to need later on.
Yeah, and you can never know too many people or have too many friends. And that's why it's important.
Too many people looking out for you.
And in Polk County, I'm very, very impressed with the way that they are. AOPA, Jamie Beckett, he should be a national treasure.
He's the yellow airplane ambassador. It's so hilarious because we monitor Lakeland's frequency and flight operations. How many times I hear him on the radio? It's like, so it's Jamie Beckett hour. You're going to hear him flying through the airspace. And we actually live in Winter Haven. Both of us live in Winter Haven together. I've known Jamie for a really long time, but it's a community of aviation, and it's not just the organizations like Sun and Fun and Central Florida Aerospace Academy, Polk State College. That's great and all, but it's a grassroots efforts of men and women who really care not only about the aviation community, but making sure that it continues for generations to come. And that's the part of being and coming to Sun and Fun every year. It's the thing I walk away from the most encouraged, because it just seems like in the last 5 years or so, the number of young people who are coming back to Sun and Fun. Because I remember 10 years ago, you come here and just like 5 kids and a bunch of really old people, which, okay, they're coming and they're reliving things, and that's great. But just in the last few years, the number of, and all the youth events that go on here, and the encouragement for young people to look at aviation as a career, but also just as a hobby, as a great way to recreate, and to get back to that, because we had that community a long time ago. And well, to be honest, we as a community let it die. I mean, we kind of just stood idly by while it just kind of tanked. And it is our responsibility. We have to own that, and we have to make the community what we want it to be.
Well, and I do know all the efforts that Sun Fund has put out here to get back into education. And James C. Ray, can't be mentioned about the appreciation for his unselfish donation of his time, his money, his efforts, and it really is coming back.
Right.
And I know Mr. Ray's getting up in age.
Yeah.
But I love to see when he does get back here and he sees the achievements.
Right.
You can almost see him light up.
Well, I know he's going to be here a few days this week, and when he's here, he's like a kid in a candy store. He just walks around and smiles the entire time, and I would love to. I don't know if I'll have his financial resources when I made it. So that would be really great if I did.
Maybe.
But to be in that position where you can look back at a lifetime in aviation and see not only what you were able to accomplish, but to see all these things these kids are able to do, not just because of money he's donated, but certainly that's money makes the world go around to a point. So you gotta
Sure.
pay for things. But to be able to see these kids, I think it must be similar to what I experienced, being able to live vicariously through them, and to see the school that they attend in that he built, to see this huge Lakeland Aero Club. I mean, what high school flight club? How many high school flight clubs in the world are there in the first place? But how many have a facility like that to call home, where they can work on airplanes, fly their own airplanes in their own dedicated grass strip to fly out of?
And the thing that I mentioned to the guys that were recipients of the regional awards, we want to replicate this, and how we don't make it so fantastic and glorious to where it's just out of sight for somebody in Minot, North Dakota.
Right.
We need to be able to make it replicatable and not difficult, and it can be done. It's very, very easy to do, but you got to have the effort, and you got to.
That's the thing, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, this community of aviation, it existed before James Ray got here, and I think that was part of the thing that caught his interest, because it's not like there was nothing and he came in. He wanted to see that this was something viable that was going to be able to stand on its own before he made the investment that he made. And it was already functional, and it was already a really great program. Now, with that kind of financial input, you can do a whole lot of additional things, obviously. But I would say to any community anywhere, if you have that aviation community in your area, you don't have to have millions and millions of dollars to do what this was going on with nothing. And it was very successful. We were able to take it to the next plane of existence because of the huge monetary gift that Mr. Ray made. And I think that's important. If you have that community in your area, man, latch on to that. Get the kids out to the airport for Boy Scout, Girl Scout stuff. Get them involved in clubs and in schools. Whether they don't have to fly, they can build model airplanes. Anything you can do to help foster that interest, because they're being bombarded with every opportunity known to man. Computer programming, drones are a huge deal, and that's fine, but they're never going to look at pilot being an option or mechanic being an option if no one tells them about it.
Well, even
it's got to be put in front of them. They have to have the opportunity.
Even the UAV folks, they got to have a start in aviation somewhere. But
exactly.
I'm telling you what, I'm impressed, and Eric, I want to thank you for spending
You're welcome
some time
anytime.
with us. I am going to stick my nose in.
Come over anytime. Thanks, Ben. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And we want to sign off right now with Mr. Crump and let him get back to his busy schedule. And we know you want to come back to our next compelling interview here at Sun Fund 42. See you later.